welcome to Modern Pilgrim's Adventures. Today we're going to be talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is RVing. Recreational vehiculing is a better term, I guess you could say. Now they have tons of RVs to choose from. They have anything from bumper pulls, small ones, to fifth wheels, which pretty much pulls from the center of the truck, usually much larger. Needs quite a good sized truck to pull those. Class Bs, which are typically van conversions. Class Cs, which is on a truck chassis with usually the cab over the passenger and driver's seats. And then also they have Class A motorhomes, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking more particular Class A gas versus Class A diesel. Now, we've owned both. We've had 36 feet of both of those, and we're going to tell you our experiences and maybe give you some things you didn't know about to help you guide you on your decision. But if you're thinking 36 feet, man, that is just entirely too large. Whoa, don't underestimate yourself. Look, I really have never driven an RV before we purchased a 36-foot Newmar by Dutch Star, and that was probably 15 years ago. And in my infinite wisdom, I said, you know what? Let's go to Washington, D.C. and see the Smithsonian. So we load the kids up and boogity, and, things were going pretty good. Then you hit Atlanta, and you hit 8 lanes of traffic, and you're having to merge and get over, and you're like, I second guess some decisions there. Then we went through Charlotte, and they had cement barricades right by, so you're literally almost mirror to mirror with semi trucks. In the early days, I was very nervous, but nowadays I can drive with my knee while eating a sandwich. Don't recommend you do that, but that's how comfortable I am with a motorhome. One of the big differences is the wheels. You're basically sitting over the wheel, so your turning radius is a lot different than it is in an automobile. But once you get used to it, it's very simple. So don't underestimate yourself. If you do get one, take some more remote trips where you're not in a lot of traffic, and you will get comfortable with those. So let's get into it today. Class A motorhome, gas versus diesel pushers.
Let's start with the gas burners, or gassers are they are known. So jumping right into them, they often call this because they use gas instead of diesel. With the gas, it's typically on the truck chassis. As you see here, the motor is located in the front, which means all the power is in the front, but it is a rear-wheel drive. So you have a drivetrain and an exhaust system that runs the length of the cab to get the power to the rear wheels. By doing that, it's going to cut down on some of the bays. You can't have an all the way through bay and see all the way through the coach. As with the diesel pusher, most of the diesel engines, all of the diesel engines that I have seen are located in the rear. And as you see, that opens up the middle of the area for bays. Typically, bay areas on the motorhomes, Class A's, are a little more room with the diesel pushers for the simple fact that there is no drivetrain or exhaust system running through them. Back to the gas burners. Let's talk about the engines. I had a Triton V10 gas engine. Now, I had no problem. Sometimes in the mountains with the power is a little more difficult versus some of the diesel engines. Depends on how heavy a load you're loading. Gas pushers are typically 23,000 pounds, whereas diesel pushers are probably 30,000 pounds. This was our actually 99 Newmar Dutch Star that we had. We've gone all over the U.S. in that. One of the things about gas, be careful where you're at on these gas stations. If you're out and about, you're going to run into this problem. You have to be very cognizant of where you're going to get gas. So I like Flying J's. They're not endorsing us or anything, but every Flying J I've ever been to, they have an RV island, which is set aside, especially if you're gas. It is incredible, so you don't get logged up in all the other traffic. Plus, they usually got Denny's and good food. So if you're a gas burner, look for Flying J's. I would even book my trips around them because it's so much easier to get into to purchase your fuel. Speaking of fuel, wow, this is where one of the big pluses go to the gas burners. I don't understand why, but gas is typically cheaper than diesel anywhere you go. So there's much more ease of an access. So as pricing wise, you're going to get a better price on the gasoline's engines. Now on the diesel pushers, a much heavier engine, as we have discussed. It's usually Cummins engine, Caterpillar. It is made for semi trucks. It is much more durable. That also means the upkeep on them are much more expensive, but you get more mileage out of a diesel engine. Supposedly, we had 157,000 miles on this coach that we had. So it really depends if you get a good engine or not. Just service it regularly and take care of it. As far as us, engine-wise, capability, the power, probably going to go towards the diesel. So let's go to the scorecard for us. Again, this is us, the gas versus the diesel. The scorecarding. So now this, again, is just my opinion, so it can change. So don't send me no nasty grams, please. Noise while traveling. Diesel, obviously, because the engine's in the back. You're mostly sitting in the front where you're traveling. All you hear is wind. With the gas engine, it's between the seats. Can be a little loud. Noise while driving or dry camping is diesel because the generator is in the front when you're sleeping. You're in the back. So that's why we went with diesel. Fuel prices, obviously, that's going to be gas. But now that is with a caveat because you are going to have difficulties at times if you're looking for gas and you're towing a vehicle. Make sure you get in proper places like Flying J's. So at ease of fuel and diesel, you're amongst the semi trucks. It's much simpler to get fuel. Engine power, diesel, no problems at all. Whether you're in the mountains, whether you're in the deserts, wherever you are. Engine durability, I'll put a tie. Might be a shock because we had 156,000 miles on our gas Triton V10 engine, so I'll put a gas tie there. Engine repair costs, gas. It's going to be easier to get an auto mechanic than a diesel mechanic. They're plentiful, and it's much simpler to work on that. Vehicle chassis is much heavier with a diesel. You've got air brakes. It's just the handling is so much different. It's just you're about an 8,000 pound difference. So you see that chassis storage. I put a tie. You lose a little bit if it's not all the way through, but nothing that you would really probably notice. Towing capacity, we went with a diesel because in the mountains you will see a difference with a gas burner, especially if you're towing a vehicle. Handling ability, as I mentioned a moment ago, the diesel is so much heavier. The air brakes makes it so much easier. Just the weight of the vehicle. New and used costs are going to go to gas. It's much easier to repair a gas vehicle than it is a diesel burner. So bada boom, bada bing. Here's the final conclusion. Overall, price and what you get. If you're just starting out, I would probably lean to a gas burner to make sure it's something you want to do. It's much cheaper to get into. It's easier to work on. They're very durable. Just keep it serviced. But if you've been in it a while, if you haven't tried a diesel, I would have a tendency to probably lean towards a diesel pusher because it is much more durable. The ride is better. It's quieter when you're driving, especially in the mountains. I know I keep going back there, but in the mountains, man, you hear that loud, and it's very loud. Diesel, not so much. But whatever you're doing, I hope you're enjoying it. Home is where we park it, and home is hopefully where you park it. I hope you enjoy our channel because we certainly love talking to you, and we love seeing you out on the road. If you see us out on the road, come up and tell us hey. And we thank you for watching Modern Pilgrim's Adventure. Above all, enjoy life.